Tonight's West End performance is for Cinderella's everywhere.
So My Cinderella, it's really a rom-com. I mean, it's a romantic comedy. It's not some deadly serious evening, nor is it a fairy tale. It's a fun take on the story of Cinderella, but it's about a girl who doesn't want to conform and is empowered with her own view of life, who tries to conform, and it all goes wrong for her. And therefore, I think that this Cinderella is quite a fit for what we're going to do tonight.
And this evening sees the unlikely combination of the West End teaming up with Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala.
Well, Malala's got to be one of the most inspirational young women of our time. This really came together really quite simply because I got very moved by some of the pictures we saw from Afghanistan. One of the things you saw was what was going on for the women. So I called Malala and I just said, because My Cinderella is about a quite modern young woman. Clearly, I mean, My Cinderella would not go a very long way in certain countries of the world these days. What about doing something for her charity, which I love because it's actually about keeping young women in education. It just seemed a perfect fit, and I'm glad to say she felt she'd like to come along with it. I think we've got to remember that music is one of the most empowering things that any child can have. And when you start hearing about regimes where music's banned, I just begin to feel, that one has got to help.
And the music also stopped here temporarily during the lockdowns, causing a devastating impact on the West End.
Well, obviously, theatres can't survive another lockdown, and commercial theatre didn't get a penny to speak of from the government, and we would not be able to go on, anymore. I think what's happening in New York is the way forward, if that's going to happen, and it's not the way I would like to see it happen, but it is the way that New York has got through the problem, which is that unless you're double vaccinated, you can't do anything. You can't buy a cup of coffee even. If that's what we need to keep theatres open, it's a very small price to pay, because remember that if theatres close, then the whole infrastructure of a city goes. You lose the restaurants, you lose the small people, you need even the sort of dry cleaners and everything, the whole infrastructure goes, and we can't afford to let that happen again. But all I can say, in New York, everybody's happy, everybody's milling around town square, everybody's fine, and they're showing it's so easy, you just show you're double vaccinated and you can do anything you like.
What would be your personal preference? Would it be, because you said, it's not what I want. But
it's not necessarily what I want, because I don't want to wear a mask in the theatre, but as I've been saying to everybody, one character in my theatre has been wearing a mask for 35 years. Personally, I wouldn't risk it. If I was going to a theatre myself now, tonight, when I am, I'll wear a mask tonight.
How is it bouncing back? Are you happy with it?
Well, the West End is doing really pretty well at the moment. I think after Christmas, when we get past the New Year holiday, that's where I wonder. It's always a bad time for theatre there anyway. What we're not getting yet is the much older audience who, perhaps have normally come to my shows. But I'm rather pleased I'm being made up with the younger.
And tonight's performance has a global message that the show must go on everywhere. Rags Martel, ITV News.